You're live. Hi, YouTube. Welcome to Tools of Life. Hang in there as we've got about 2 minutes before we go live on 216 The Net. And YouTube, here we go. Let's go live in 3, 2, 1. You're now live. Welcome to Tools of Life with Julie Ford. Should we throw the shepherd in there? I mean, just Julie Ford. We'll go Julie Ford. And hang in there as we got about 2 minutes before we go live on 216 The Net. If you're out there traveling, you can listen to us on the app. Just download that from your app store on your smart device, or check us out at www.216thenet.com and click the Listen Live button. But hang in there. We're about a minute and a half out from going live to what is going to be a sensational show that you can catch every Friday. Every Friday. This is just a little behind the scenes that your fans get a little extra, which is nice. That's it. Yeah. All right. Now, if I'm going to read any of those, we got to get that into readable size. There we go. All right. 1 minute out. Quiet on the set. 1 minute out.
Lately I've been reeling, watching the nightly news. Don't seem to find the rhythm, just wanna sing the blues. Feels like a song that never stops. Feels like it's never gonna. Gotta get that fire back in my bones before my heart turns into stone.
Good morning and welcome to Tools of Life with me. I'm Julie Ford of Tools of Life, and this is the show that brings parents and teens enough uplift and levity from Friday to sift right back into Monday. There is no need to dread a new week. Let's be kind to Mondays. There are 52 of them in every year. Let's be kind. No need to dread. So many of you are new to me and you're new to the Tools of Life show. So I'll let you know that at Tools of Life, we've been supporting parents and teens as they navigate the challenges, but also the rich discoveries of this stage. Each stage seems to have a little bit of dread to it, and that's really unfortunate. The terrible twos, the terrible threes, and when I tell people I have teen girls, especially, they're like, "Oh my gosh," and there's no need to dread. We can enjoy every stage of parenting, and that's what we're here to talk about again: is joy, absolute joy. When we are joyful, we give kids great examples to follow, and sometimes they just can't help but be joyful with us. So now there are a lot of fellow shenanigators and out-of-the-box learners out there right along with me who were opposed to the word rules. And that was what I had called my series, was 7 rules I follow since choosing joy. And I tell you what, I hear you. I 100% get it. And so we've changed the name to 7 habits I adopted since choosing joy, because it's just so much better. So I really appreciate you having enough gumption to share that with me, because these truly are habits that serve me. And my gut says that they also will serve the world in answer to how do we see joy in joyless places? And that's from a book called May Cause Miracles by Gabby Bernstein. How do we see joy in joyless places? So I agree. Rules, too formal. We're going to chuck that. So thanks again. So I'll be sharing habits from here forward. And these habits work when I give them a go, like truly give them a go, except when they don't, because sometimes they won't. And here I'm quoting Dr. Seuss. I'm a total fan of Ted Geisel. But sometimes they do, and I'm hoping that a nugget or two will help a few of you. How do you like that?
Hey,
Whoa.
whoa,
Yeah,
very good.
Ted would be proud, right? So seriously, when they don't work, and there is a lot of floundering when trying to choose joy. There is. We try and then we try again. So I forgive myself. I go sit still for a while, and then I sit silently and listen to my breath until I can get back into joy. So I'm not afraid to admit that sometimes I kind of sit and have those quiet spaces on the John. We're going to take those. We're parents. We're going to take those moments anywhere
That's right.
we can get them, right? Absolutely. So, when you got to go, you got to go. When you need some joy, you need some joy. Let's get on to our first habit. And this is the first habit that I've adopted and definitely embraced since choosing joy. And that is to gather smiles, collect smiles. And typically I do this at the grocery store because I'm there a lot. We need food. Food is good.
Always good.
Absolutely.
I find joy in food.
Absolutely. Even though we find joy in food, not many people find joy in going to collect the food. There are all kinds of hassles there. So finding joy in a joyless place. And what I want to do is invite our listeners, Ken, honestly, to tell us in the comments if they have some joyless places in their lives that they'd like to have some more joy. And if we haven't gotten to them yet, absolutely, we're going to talk about those joyless places. So, but first, we're going to talk about one of my favorite, seemingly joyless places, and that's Aldi. I go to Aldi a lot, and not many people share that love of Aldi. They're getting there. Share that love because it doesn't have everything, but I like having fewer choices sometimes. Helps me out.
It does.
Helps me out a little bit. The sea of choices can be debilitating. So Aldi has this cornucopia of society. So many people to serve, so many places to collect those smiles. You can have the person who comes in a beater car. You can have it sitting right next to a Ferrari, and some lady gets out in a fur coat. It's kind of a little mix of everybody there. That's kind of what I love about it. So the first way to collect a smile is just simply with my smile. And I learned that long ago when my little girl was a perfect example of it. When she's 17 now, but when she was like a year old, she would hang onto her little stroller and say, "Hi, hi," and it would get louder and louder and more aggressive until somebody actually responded back, "Hi," And I don't do that at the grocery store. I like go right up in someone's face and smile as big as I can until they smile back. I might get arrested, but. But no, that's not a good idea. But your smile is one of the simplest ways to collect another smile. At Aldi, you have to kind of buy your cart, rent it, shall we say, for a quarter. So you then have to return it. That's the concept. But a lot of times it's cold outside. You might have some kids in the car. So I try to find someone in the parking lot I can give my quarter to and take their cart to give a little bit of service back so that they're smiling because they didn't have to run into the store. So that's another way to find that smile and give some joy in a joyless place. I'll give a recommendation because Aldi is that place where you're kind of taking a chance. They don't have the brand names that a lot of people are used to. So a lot of times I'll give a recommendation like, yeah, I've had that Pinot Noir and it's awesome. And look at the price on that sucker. That's awesome. Take two.
Yeah.
Take two. And people love that, a little bit of interaction. Like I said, except when you don't always run into extroverts at the store, but sometimes people are staring at that product going, "Oh, did I take the chance?" And I'm like, definitely put it in the cart. Sometimes I will give up my place in line. I usually have a cart, but there are some people that don't, and they have this armload of stuff, like outrageous armload of stuff, because they thought they didn't need a cart, but really they did. And I'll be like, "Please go ahead of me in line. It doesn't cost me anything."
Sure.
It's, like a minute. Or I'll play peekaboo with a fussy kid that is, mom's trying to get everything or dad's trying to get everything on the belt so they can get out of here and get to nap time or bedtime or just put the feet up and make dinner time, whatever they're trying to do. But making the fussy kid stop the fussing helps the rest of the store.
It really does. Yeah. One of the questions that has come in is how do you make it so you're not the weird crazy person as you're collecting smiles?
Oh, Well, you kind of have to use a little bit of intuition. Like, am I going to get arrested for this? Are they looking at me funny? Did they get their phone out to call 911? Those are some definite signs. But, sometimes I think we don't risk enough, being that it's not so crazy to say hi. It's not so crazy to be friendly.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, you don't want to be outrageous weirdo.
Right.
But, I don't know. There is a fine line. Maybe I'm going to find it, and that'll be a future show.
Well, yeah, there's some genuineness to it.
Right.
It's not the polite smile as a
right. Absolutely. Thanks for saying so. Authenticity is definitely a key. If you're authentically there to bring some joy, it won't come off as I'm a weirdo and I'm on a list somewhere.
Yeah. And that's I think the biggest part is you're out collecting smiles. Is you don't have a tin can going, hey.
Right. I don't have those ulterior motives. Absolutely. So another one is not freaking out, even like with a heavy sigh when something doesn't go right. So the person ahead of you, or three people ahead of you, thought you chose the right line, right? And they have a transactional problem. So their credit card fails, or something happens, or the machine's not working. This happened to me the other day, and the checker was freaking out, just like, I'm so sorry. And then the person who had the transactional problem again, and I'm like, no worries, it's all good, got nowhere to be. And when I finally got up to him, I said, hey, the place isn't on fire. And he said, that might be kind of cool, I wouldn't have to go to work tomorrow. I said, could you imagine that the cookout in the meat aisle? So we were able to, it was joy, instead of, and bring his anxiety level down a little bit. It was awesome. But these things can happen not just in the store. Have you ever been following a school bus, Kent, and the kids are like waving wildly?
Oh yeah.
And it just brings them so much joy when you interact and wave back. They're like, hey. So, interact and give that to them. On the same note, I read an article that truckers are sad because the kids aren't doing this anymore, pulling their arm down to have the truckers
do all the time.
Honk their horn, and they get so excited. They're like, it's a lost art now. The kids don't know that. So I've been doing it just by myself in my car.
No semis around. Yeah.
They do look at me funny, but that's all right. Some of them do honk their horn.
Right.
You're sitting in traffic, smile at the person next to you in maybe not a weird way, but just smile. And they might even wonder, do I know you?
That's
right. They give that tentative wave. But all of these things, honestly, they say, I see you. You matter. And I don't know anybody that doesn't need that every once in a while.
That's right.
Where they feel invisible. That's right. So
now, one of the listeners says that I heard that caging, quote unquote, children in the shopping cart is wrong.
Well, I was a cager. I would put them in the shopping cart because I needed to get through. And I was one of those who was like opposed to children whipping stuff off of shelves and knocking into other patrons. So, I did keep them caged as long as I possibly could until at least 12, 13, Yeah,
right. Yeah. Until they're able to drive. I, with 4 kids, that I have, that's your collecting place. So
that's right.
One cart is for the kids, one cart is for the groceries.
That's right. And the big one gets to push the littler 3 in that cart. Well done. Right. Well played there, Kent. Love it. Now, I don't know about you, but I also dance for security cameras. I see them in Walmart. Often they're in like the cosmetic aisles where it would be easy to pinch several different things. But, I see those and I'm like, all right. Big Brother is everywhere. And I tell you what, he's got to be bored. He's got to be bored. So let's give him something to wake his day up. Like, what is this woman doing? Yeah, give him some good moves or give him some bad moves. It's good.
A good robot is always good on those.
Oh, yeah. 80s. There we go. That's awesome. That's awesome. I went to New York in August and I used Uber and taxis. And first I would ask, can I sit in the front? then I also would talk to my drivers and say, hey, what do you love most about your job? And some of them was just the paycheck, what's the most interesting person you've ever gotten in your car? 2 of them said you, but because I was pretty chatty. But just I want to ask them about their lives, and a lot of them just smiled. Like very few people have asked me, "Can I sit in front?" So
So
ahead.
again, another listener is so it feels like during our day we have 100 small things that just irritate us or upset us, and then finally when we get home we take that deep breath, uh, and either let them all boil over, or start to decompress. And what you're saying is by collecting these smiles during the day,
Oh yeah, you could decompress all day.
you can decompress all day.
All day. So yeah, you don't have to have that valve just at the end. And I agree, we need a valve.
Mm-hmm.
We need a valve. I mean, and I talk a lot about joy, but there's also a lot of really valid stuff to be sorrowful during the day.
Sure.
And letting that out too, like saying, you know what, this made me sad today and I need to let some of that sad out. That builds up and it'll go kablam, and at the most inopportune time,
Sure.
typically. So
And on the wrong person.
yes,
Right.
on the wrong person. Oh, absolutely perfect point. On the wrong person. So definitely letting those things out periodically, feeling the feels when you're feeling them.
Right. Yeah.
And I know it's not always quote unquote appropriate, but wouldn't it be cool if we made it more appropriate to let them out in the moment so that they weren't so severe
Mm-hmm.
when they finally come out? So I have to give a little station identification here. So right now you are listening to 21.6 The Net, www.216thenet.com. Internet radio is a station breaking the mold of radio as you know it. We bring only the positive, inspiring shows to the airwaves. 21.6 The Net programming stays away from the negative aspects of most topics to give you your daily dose of encouragement. www.216thenet.com.
Yeah. Like us, follow us on Facebook, download the app, all that good stuff.
All those things. All those things. There's no excuse for not tuning in.
Now back to our regularly scheduled program.
And like I said, these things, not just at the store, make sure that you're reaching out to those truckers. I dare you to collect smiles at the DMV. Okay. You walk into the DMV and you're like, oh, there's an atmosphere here that I have to join in with. Nope, you don't. You can break that mold too. Speaking of breaking molds, you remember the sloth in Zootopia?
Yeah.
He was awesome. And yes, of course, perfect to put a sloth at the DMV. But he told a joke. It was the slowest joke ever, but it was hilarious and he was joyful. I loved it. Absolutely. So definitely slow down, choose fun at the DMV.
Funny that you say that. Ron Hostry, you remember?
Ron, Rancher Ron.
Yeah, Rancher Ron. I learned something from him. The joy that he tries to bring to people is just that he'll ask them, "Hey, are you having fun yet today?"
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's a gas station attendant, whether it's somebody across from the gas pump from him, whether it's the cashier at Aldi, whatever the case may be. But what he always and then people have to stop and think, and
right.
Like
the challenge there is have no irony in your voice when you say it.
Yeah.
Most people think, even if you don't, are you having fun yet? Like,
right.
But as if it's a sarcastic or ironic question.
Yeah.
No, I really mean it. Like, where's your fun today?
Yeah. Yeah. and it's amazing the responses that you'll get when he does that. So I've tried to do that a lot.
Love it.
And now my daughter, Lucy, who's 10, is starting to pick up on that.
Yep.
Like, why do you ask? Well, don't you like having fun? I like having fun.
Yeah. I want to know the people around me are having fun.
Yeah.
It's better to be around those folks that are having fun.
That's it.
Yeah, absolutely. I've made a lot of phone calls lately to government agencies. After October 1st, you have to, I have a high school senior. So the FAFSA came into play.
Oh, yeah.
FAFSA. Whoop. And we're self-employed, and the FAFSA and self-employed people don't mix.
Not so much.
They're like, where's your W-2? Where's your W-2? I'm like, I don't have one. I don't have a W-2. Look at this line. I don't have that line. I don't even have that form,
Right.
So I'm calling the people and they're like, forget it. It's just not going to be accurate, and when I call these folks, I know that they are not the government entity.
Right.
They are employed by the government entity. And so if they help me even a tiny smidge, I tell them, you made my day. You absolutely made my day. You made my day better. I mean, who does not want to hear you made my day better?
Yep.
Insurance people definitely want to hear that. The people that are stuck in the bowels of a medical phone tree, oh yeah, they need to hear you made my day better. And let's not forget like checkers and servers and stalkers, not stalkers, the people who put the stuff on shelves so that it's available for us. I mean, yeah, you can bring joy to your stalkers, but that's your business. A perfect example of this is that my daughter was at homecoming just this past weekend. And after homecoming, they went all dressed up and they went bowling.
Oh, jeez.
And so she was thirsty and she went up to the bar and to get some drinks, some soft drinks. She's 14. And she chatted up the nice lady who was bartending. And they probably even exchanged hair tips and tips about how to do great nails. But Vivian ended up with 2 free lemonades from talking to this lady. And she said, Mom, I didn't expect free stuff. That was totally not her intention whatsoever. But she said, Mom, why wouldn't I talk to her? How can people just sit there and watch others serve them and not treat them like the humans they are? And that it just touched me. And I was like, yes, it's getting through. It's getting through. We talked to
There's a crack.
Yes. Yes. It was absolutely fantastic. So one of the last things that I'll tell you about that where I find joy in joyless places is I carry self-adhesive googly eyes in my purse. And I put them on inanimate objects around places. Now, they are self-adhesive, but they are not damaging. So just so you know, I'm not a vandal. I've had challenges with my a couple of my really great friends. And I was meeting one of them, my old college roommate, in Chicago. And we were texting each other. She was on one train going north, and I was on one train going south from Wisconsin. And we were challenging each other to googly eye the Metra. And so, you know, those quiet cars that have the person, it needed an eyeball right here. So I had to enlist a dad. He was sitting with his 8-year-old. And I'm like, I sat silently for the whole, you know, with my headphones on, and I look real respectable and all until all of a sudden I take out a bag of googly eyes and I'm looking at sizes and like, yeah, this will work. And I handed it. I said, could you do me a favor and put that over the tiny eyeball on that sign right there for quiet car? And he was like, ah. And then I said, wait, there's another one. And I said, Dad, would it be all right if we had your son do that one? I don't want to like contribute to the delinquency of a minor, but this is pretty harmless, bringing joy. And oh, please. Oh yeah, we're all into shenanigans. Awesome. And so bonk, there it went. And so we kept getting pictures of that, but it brought joy to the strangers that were there, and people would get on the train and then look again at the googly eye, you know. But we've done statues, inanimate objects at O'Hare, all kinds of things that need eyes.
Yeah.
Get you to think twice, look twice. All right. So in closing here today, I have loved being here, but a little bit of goof goes a huge way.
Yeah.
A really long way. And if you aren't this out there, I know everybody isn't an extrovert because the world would be a really loud place if it was filled with extroverts. Try something small, just smiling, just waving your arm to say, go ahead of me, holding a door for somebody.
Huge.
Oh, gigantic, huge. I remember my kids did that, and parents were freaking out behind them. Like, oh, nobody does that anymore. And they were shocked. They're like, what do you mean nobody does that? There are humans behind you. That would just be mean. And the parents were like, no, people just don't anymore. So let's do. Let's do.
I think that when you have to go out looking for those smiles.
Yes.
I mean, if you're truly looking for joy in a joyless place, you have to go out doing that. You can't all of a sudden be in a joyless place and go, uh-oh, I'm in a joyless place.
Right.
Right. It kind of has to be your intent. Hey, you know what? When I go out, I know there's going to be traffic. I know.
Yep.
I mean, we're all adults. We know what life is like. and the teenagers who are coming up are learning what life is like. But if you go out with the goal to say, you know what, just let me just get
Just
one
one.
genuine smile from somebody, and that's where joy is. And the amazing thing is that you haven't touched on is that person will now tell that story to everybody
Yes.
for the
And
next week and a
I
half.
encourage, like gather them up, count them, and relay them, which brings me to 3 things that I want to leave you with at the end of every show. And that's something to ponder, something to practice, and something to play with.
Something to ponder.
Something to ponder, something to practice, and something to play with.
Mhm.
So here we've been talking about letting people know that I see you, you are not invisible, and you matter. Those are what we're after. So something to ponder here is, without your smile, the world cannot be saved.
Mm,
That's a quote from A Course in
I love
Miracles.
it.
So that's something to ponder. Without your smile, the world cannot be saved. Something to practice. Gather 3 smiles a day, just 3. If you do more, great. Count them up and then tell someone about it, or a group of someone's. Bring it to the dining room table. Make that known that, hey, this is where I got my smiles. Make that the first question you ask. How many smiles did you gather today? Well, tell me about it. What happened?
Mhm.
And the kids will start to notice. It's catching. It
Yeah.
really is catching, because the playground can be a joyless place sometimes.
It really can.
Yeah.
Especially
the
when you're
lunchroom.
50.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The lunchroom. Stay off those playgrounds, Ken. Yeah. I'm not telling you again. No. And then the last one, something. Okay, go ahead.
No, to that point
Mhm.
at the table is with my family. Again, I've got a 17-year-old at home and a 10-year-old at home. And hey, Luce, how was your day? Oh, it was great. Really, what made it great?
What made it great?
And
Absolutely.
now they go, well, so we kind of dig. But
you have to dig.
But it's turned around, because, hey, Dad, how was your day? Oh, it was a pretty good day. Really? What
made it pretty good?
And I'm like,
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
I see what you did there.
So, hey, she gets a smile from me. Like,
That's
"Hey, you
right.
got it.
That's
All
right.
you know."
I see how you turned that around. That's awesome. So then the last thing is something to play with. Googly eyes are cheap,
That's cool.
but
That's
make
really
sure
cool.
you have the self-adhesive, because nothing is sadder than a purse full of googly eyes and you have no way to stick them but gum, and that is vandalism. Okay, so don't go there. All right, just say no to sticking things on with gum.
That is awesome.
Toothpaste is okay, but I don't know. We don't normally carry toothpaste in our
not so much.
purses, as far as we know.
That's great.
All right, it has been fabulous being here this morning, and I'm so glad that Tools of Life is catching on.
Yeah.
If you have some joyless place when you're watching the replay that you want to talk about, I'm going to be checking out these comments. So, and if you have a stumper, but hey, Julie, what about the blah blah place where there's no joy? I really want to hear about it.
Yeah, if they have that, where can they find you at?
All right. So I can be found on Facebook at Jewels of Life, and that's JULZ as in zebra, Jewels of Life. I can also be found on Instagram there, Jewels of Life. I have jewelsoflife.com as well. And here's something that I would love. We don't talk enough, right?
Yeah.
Just actually voice to voice, face to face. And so I'm going to throw it out there that I will talk to you if you call me. And my number, let's talk about enjoying every stage, absolutely every stage of parenting. And to do that, we have to enjoy every stage of where we are as parents, not just as people, not just as parents. So my number is 262-374-3744. And if you call me and I'm not available, leave me a message, which is also an anomaly these days.
That's right.
And I'll call you back and we'll talk about the thing that you think is joyless or having you enjoy every stage. I've got all kinds of ways to have you do that. So I'm excited for these next shows because we're going to continue with the 7 habits. So next week we will have our next habit, which is, hold tight, I'll tell you what we're talking about. Habit number 2 is start the day asking, how can I serve?
Start the day. That is a good thing. And it is an every week show. So
You betcha.
right here, 9:30 on Friday morning.
Yep.
And really, the idea with the 9:30 is why decompress? Why not ramp up? So
That's right.
You run through Monday, right? You ramp up through the weekend.
That's right.
We're giving you this great daily dose of encouragement right here.
Yep.
To get you through the weekend.
Fill it up this weekend.
That's it.
Like gather all the smiles, gather all the joy, and take it right on into Monday. So they really wonder what on earth got into you by the time you walk into your day on Monday.
That is that. So that is awesome. And again, just let them know where they can find you one last time.
You could find me at Jules of Life, JULZ, as in zebra, of life on Instagram and on Facebook and julesoflife.com. And I challenge you to give me a call and ask me about joy in a joyless place or enjoying every stage of your parenting by giving me a call and leaving me a message at 262-374-3744.
That is it. You've been listening to 21.6 The Net, and this has been Tools of Life with Julie Ford.